Hello and good morning. Welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. So before we get started, we're going to go ahead and invite some people onto here. Oh, it just looks different today. Okay.
Must have updated. Weird.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Get out the notes.
All right. Got them?
Not yet. There it is. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And spot industry. Where'd they go? Here they are. Gee, many Christmas.
Alrighty. There we go.
Okay, Marty's here. What's happening, sir? Just kind of scrolling back. Andrew, what's going on? Happy Tuesday. Teresa is here and watching. David Roeder, Jim Bailey, what's going on? What's happening out in Colorado? Judith, hello. Morning, morning, morning.
Hi.
Get rolling, and I moved the screen. What did you do? What the world?
Here.
Okay. So here we're going over High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. If you don't know about this book, it is the #1 seller on the list. So far, I'm not a huge fan because it's written all over the place, just personally. The content's pretty good, but it doesn't go in chapters. It's very, very wordy. So for those of you who want something that is short and to the point, this is not. But in saying that, there is some good content and good information. Just like anywhere, you can pull out the best of something, and that's kind of what I had to do. The quest for high performance, it says, I need to know what to do. So he told a story about a guy who basically wrote him and said, personalities are crap. Your process is garbage. He had this long list of stuff. And basically told Brendon, he's like, I just need to know exactly what to do. I'm not interested. So obviously this guy was probably a D-type personality, because most D-type personalities think personality thing is crap. Everybody else is having problems except them. It says practice, what practices work regardless of your personality was kind of what he was asking. He says, well, there's things you can change. The mindset you choose to adapt, you can change. You can have a mindset of abundance, or you can have a mindset of limited. A mindset of abundance is that the world is made up of a bunch of pies, and when you need something, resources, whatever, you can just create more pies. The limited or scarcity mindset is life is basically one pie, and if so-and-so has some of my stuff, then I have less. And that's a fear-based teaching that unfortunately isn't true, because Every time we've started to run out of something, technology basically comes in and fixes it. People will say, well, there's a lack of money. I don't have as much money. Well, money didn't disappear. In fact, money isn't even real, right? Money is not real. Money is printed. So to say that you have a lack of it means you have a lack of acquiring it, not a lack of it physically. Now, I know that there's supposedly some shortage. Somebody's going to write me and say, oh my gosh, there's a shortage of coins. Well, of course, we stopped, the mint while coronavirus was going on, so they weren't printing money for a few months. So now I've seen that fear thing be, oh my gosh, we're going to run out. No, they just need to restart everything and print it again because it has been printed, right? Focus. The focus you give your passions and your persistence, you pursue them. So that's another thing that you can do. You can start focusing. Most people are not focused. Most people are generalist. Just tell me what I need to know just to move forward. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know any specifics. I just need to know just how do I get here? Again, they miss the point of it's the philosophy of figuring it out that will help you move forward the fastest and the longest. Especially in direct sales and network marketing. The way you understand and treat others. You can treat others better. You can treat others better that you don't have the same opinion with. The name calling and the this person's that and blah, blah, blah has gotten to, it's very, it's not just childish. It's kind of like the angry 2-year-old, everything sucks. Let's throw mud at everybody kind of society. So the discipline and consistency with which you strive for your goals. So that goes back to focus. And again, he kind of repeats himself in the book, but in some cases he'll say this is what it's not. And then in other parts he comes and says it is. So it's a weird book to say the least. The way you bounce back from losses, you can change. That's something that you can change. We just went through Failing Forward that just spelled out how do you overcome losses. John Maxwell talks about taking anything that you've gone through and what is the lesson I learned from it. I didn't get to where I was supposed to be. What did I learn from this? Well, that's why tracking and things come in. The amount of physical exercise you do to keep your brain and your body fit and overall being cared for. What are the exact and most effective practices? That's really what we're trying to get down to. Finding what matters. Motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. That actually came from Jim Rohn. If you want to reach higher levels of performance in anything you do, you must consistently do the following. You must consistently do the following. So this is a list of what to do if you want to become a high performer. Number 1, seek clarity on who do you want to be and how do you want to interact with others. What do you want and what are you willing to be the greatest at? What are you willing to be the greatest at? Cole's here. What's happening, sir? Develop an MVP statement because they kind of go into, you really need to know what your purpose is. You need to know what where you're headed, how you're headed. That's really what MVP stood for. Mission, vision, purpose. What is your mission? How are you going to do something? Vision, where are you going to be at a certain moment in time? And then purpose is why you're going to do something. When you know those things, when you know why you're doing what you're doing, you'll basically figure out how. When you know why. When you know why and you know how, you'll basically start to create a vision. You'll see where you're headed. You'll see the things you're going to accomplish. And here's what it boils down to. The clearer you see that, the easier it is to get. So if you look out and if I asked you where you're going to be in 2 to 5 years and you're like, well, I kind of want, you're not getting whatever you don't have it clear enough yet. You have to be able to come out right away. Virgil's here. What's up, sir? You have to be able to come out right away and be able to say, this is exactly what it's going to look like. And they find that high performers know that stuff and it's clear. It's clear to the point where when they're asked, they can be like, this is exactly where we're going to be. This is how much, this is the size team. This is the stadiums we're filling. These are the meetings we're doing. These are the trips we're traveling on. This is the house we're in. They have it clear where they know where they're headed. And part of that is, just if you're in direct sales and network marketing, you might be new and still learning the process. There is a time frame where you're learning the process. Now, if you've been there for 10 years and you haven't learned the process, you're not learning the process, right? I don't know what you're doing, hanging out, being part of the group, being part of the club, which is fine. But if you want to be a high performer inside your company, and this is for all companies, I don't care if you're digging ditches in the real estate business, starting a massage practice, I had a vision that I told the first person that came on board with us. She's like, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to build a holistic health practice that, is going to have multiple people. The goal is 10. I think we have seven now?
Yeah, we have 7 and then 9 including us.
Yeah, so I said, well, I want to build about 10 people. I knew the number because it was big enough where if I wasn't there, it wouldn't matter. But it was small enough that you kind of know everybody, as friends inside of a company. Everybody kind of has everybody's back. And we're going to build this client database. And, I remember saying you're going to press a button and be able to print money, we don't physically print money, for those of you who are wondering. If I knew how to do that, I would have skipped this show and not gotten up, for that. I'm just being honest, right? If you can print money, you probably would skip this show too. So what I mean by printing money is I have the ability in a database that's large enough that if I press a button, I can actually bring people in the door. It's automated like that. Next, generate energy. If you want to reach higher levels, you will have to learn how to generate energy so that you can maintain focus, effort, and well-being. Most people do not know how to generate energy. They kind of know how to generate negative energy. They start thinking about things that go wrong, and then they start talking about things that go wrong, and then they go in a circle over and over and over again every day until they wear themselves out. That's why they're always tired. They're actually, when you stress yourself out, you actually wear out your adrenal glands, and your adrenal glands fire, and then you feel worn out, then you feel lethargic, and then you feel all these different things. That's your adrenal glands. By the way, Facebook, just scrolling through, Instagram, all of these social media based platforms, especially with all of the craziness that's going on, that's actually super addictive. First of all, it's drops of dopamine every time you flip through and click, and you hate this and you dislike that. And I'm gonna stick an angry sticker, which does a whole lot nowadays. I'm gonna make an angry face on a post because that's who I am as a person. By the way, if they were able to track the number of posts you have and track whether it's positive or negative, it tells you a lot about who people are. So this is the way we kind of evaluate who we're going to be friends with. Is I just scroll through their post. I scroll through their actual Facebook page. What are they posting? Is it generally positive stuff, or is it all negative? Is it why the world sucks and everybody's gonna whatever? Or is it positive and here's who's building, here's who's structuring, here's who's doing something great? I tend to not hang out with people who put up negative all the time.
Mm-hmm. And also, since we have a holistic health practice here in Indianapolis, we also use this when we hire too. So a lot of you don't realize this, but we talk to a lot of other employers, and we're like, yeah, now we actually go on their Facebook page and look at this, and we're able to tell whether or not this is somebody we want representing our company. So not only do you need to do it just because you should, but it's also something that employers are looking at now, and you have to be conscious of it.
And you should do it for even team building. So when I'm looking through and I get leads and I have the ability to look up who people are, I'll scroll through and look at who they are and what they're posting and be like, a lot of times I just won't contact them at all. Like, it's not even worth the conversation. Raise the necessity for exceptional performance. I kind of put raise the bar, raise the input, raise the output. If you raise the input, meaning if you're doing personal development, you'll raise your output of what you're actually physically doing. And that's true in direct sales, network marketing, real estate, ditch digging, whatever. Increase productivity in your primary field of interest. Most people who are successful are trying to increase their primary. The people who are like jumping to 30 different things usually aren't successful at any of them on a high level. Find a person that has 15 different careers. They're usually not the top of what they do in anything. Except if they focused in one area and spent 15, 20 years of getting amazing in that area, and then they started building off into all these because they learned all the principles doing one thing. It's very hard to learn all the principles doing 15 things. Develop influence with those around you. You'll find that high performers develop influence with those around them who are also high performers. Who are you talking to on a regular basis? Dan Pena says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Demonstrate courage by expressing your ideas, taking bold action, and then standing up for yourself and others, even in the face of fear, uncertainty, threat, or changing conditions. So high performance habits He said personal habits: seek clarity, generate energy, raise necessity. The social end of it is increase productivity, develop influence, and demonstrate courage. So people use the following to make excuses for poor performance. And I was supposed to bullet these, and I didn't. I just don't have the personality. So these are the excuses people will give for not performing. Not just not high performing, just not performing at all. Well, you have to understand my personality. I have to evaluate everything first. If I can't do it perfect, I don't do it at all. I was like, awesome. What do you do perfect right now? Like, I'll ask that question. What do you do perfect right now? Because you said that you wait around so what do you do perfect? Because obviously there has to be something you're doing perfect. I'm perfectly waiting around. I said I would agree. I'm introverted, I'm just not that smart. I'm just not that gifted. I'm just not right-brained. I just don't have enough experience. My company doesn't support me. My upline doesn't support me. Basically, Brandon, these are all excuses. None of it's real. It's a mindset problem. It's a mindset problem of negativity and low self-worth. So if you've ever said any of these, that's what it is. It's a mindset problem. It's low self-worth, low self-esteem. Anybody can fix any of these, which is good. And, part of is reading a book like this and picking out the good stuff and using it. A rising tide lifts all ships. He put boats, but it's a rising tide lifts all ships. One habit lifts all the others. So once you increase one habit in the right direction, it's amazing how everything else changes. Now, what's the one habit that initially, before you even talk to anybody, what's the one habit inside of network marketing and direct sales that you can drastically change the output of what you're doing? Personal development. By reading books on a regular basis that are specific to an industry, that are specific to development, you could drastically change everything, because by just learning that, you can become more positive, you can become more influential, you can become more focused, and then everything else you do will start improving. Why? Because that output is going to change some of the relationships. That output is going to open doors you didn't have before because of who you were when you started. So basically, all of these are the BS stories you tell yourself to basically keep yourself in your comfort zone so you don't have to change. That was me, not Brandon. Is there a high performance state of mind? That was how he ended. Is there a high performance state of mind? Is there a way that people who do really well think? And the answer is yes. So this goes into section 1, personal habits. High performance habit number 1 is seek clarity. Here's the clarity basics. Our research shows that compared with their peers, high performers have more clarity on who they are, what they want, how they're going to get it, and what they find meaningful and fulfilling, meaning they know how to have a good time. They know how to feel better about what's going on. They have self-esteem. Clarity is not a personality trait that some are blessed with. So some people think, you have to be so driven. No, that's not true. In fact, if you look at the super successful, I was listening to Dan Payne the other night. He goes, most of these people who are crazy successful are super introverts. They're super introverts. Elon Musk, super introvert. Mark Zuckerberg, super introvert. Steve Jobs, super introvert. They can perform in front of a crowd. They would rather not. They would rather work on something by themselves. They're introverted. But they develop the skill of dealing with other people, because that's how you do it if you want to build a big company. Clarity is not a clarity is not a personality trait. You generate your reality. Clarity on who you are associated with and with your overall self-esteem. If your goals don't have deadlines, you won't follow through. Juanita, hello. It's best to have specific plan associated with your goals. So, it says rate the following on a scale of 1 to 10. I know who I am. Most people, that you can hear it in their statements that they're lost. They're like, well, I really don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know why I'm here, and I don't know. That lack of clarity. And here's the thing, every time you repeat that out loud, you fall farther back into that, unfortunately. I'm clear about my values, my strengths, and my weaknesses. You have to know who you are, right? I don't know what I want. You'll find that people who aren't clear, they don't know exactly what they want. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. Are you clear about your goals and dreams? I know what I want and how to get it. I have a plan to achieve that. The higher the score, the greater the performance. So the higher you want to climb in any chart or income level, you're going to have to be clearer in what you want and more diligent and disciplined. Know who you are and what you want. The highest performers had a great ability to focus on the future and how they would achieve that experience. So it's not just the experience itself, it's the feeling they'll have when they get there. And because people do a lot of things based on how they feel, that's what we're talking about. They could also describe with great clarity how they wanted to feel in upcoming endeavors, and they know specifically what conditions would destroy their enthusiasm, sense of satisfaction, and growth. So, practice 1, envision the future. High performers are clear on their intentions for themselves, their social environment, their skill, and their service. So, he said basically, this comes down to 4 things: self, social, skills, and service. So, self, the first thing is knowing yourself. Know thyself, that's actually Socrates, I believe. It's actually written on the Temple of Delphi in Greece about 2,400 years ago. Know thyself. So it was written in Greek, so got to translate it, right? High performers can describe their future with ease. I actually wrote that. Clarity brings to them confidence. That was also something that I got from what he was writing. High performers imagine a positive vision of the future, and then they actively engage in trying to do that. So it's something that they're actually going to look at. Jim, I'll give you a call back here this afternoon. Social. High performers have clear intentions about how they want to treat other people. They have high situational awareness and social intelligence, which help them succeed and lead. In every situation that matters, they know who they are, what they want to be, and how they want to interact with others. So this is just clarity of who you are and what you do, and kind of your mantra and social output as well. Think and respect others. That's kind of what it boiled down to me. That was actually me. It says they think of other people first, and they respect other people. They want to be respected, and they want to demonstrate respect to others. That was one of the key points about high performers. The 4 worst behaviors that lead to divorce. I thought this was really interesting. So he lists these, and I've heard this many times too. The first one is criticalness or criticizing. If you're consistently criticizing, some people call it nitpicking. If you're consistently doing that, you might as well just write yourself the divorce papers out. That's one of the number one things that leads to it. Defensiveness, it's not me, it's never you. Contempt, and then stonewalling, basically ignoring and then escalating problems. Skill. High performers are very clear about the skill set they need to develop now to win in the future. They know what they're trying to develop. High performers work on their primary field of interest, aka they focus. Again, they're not off doing 75 other things. High performers approach their learning as specialists, not generalists. Again, goes back to that mindset of, I'm going to do the best. Not perfect. Perfect is usually a BS excuse. Oh, I'm not doing anything until I can get it exactly perfect. And that's just how I operate. Great. What's perfect in your life? Do you have $1 million in your account? No. Do you have a perfect relationship? No. Are your kids, your pets, is everybody in perfect health? No. So tell me, what exactly are you perfecting? Perfecting excuses, maybe perfecting procrastination, but I don't see us perfection. It's performance. Performance, that's what gets rewarded. The more performance, the better. So high performers look to the future, identify key skills, obsessively develop those skills. And the last one is service. High performers care deeply about the difference they're going to make for others and in the future and in general. When someone becomes disconnected with the future and their contribution to it, they usually underperform. When you're not connected to what's going on, you're like, when you say to yourself, what does it matter anyway? Like, what does it matter what I'm doing anyway? How is this solving anything? The greater good, the greater problems. If it's not, you're probably not moving in the right direction. So that's what I got specifically out of, I don't even know, chapter, section, because he calls it sections. There are no chapters. That's what I got out of this first part. And next, it's going to go more into, from the first set, It's going to go more into skill sets. So appreciate everybody for joining us. That's a wrap. What's tomorrow? Bess is going over tomorrow, so Bess will hit that next section. Tomorrow, we'll probably talk later today, so that way we make sure we know kind of where we're at and what we're doing, because it's not chapter based. But we'll get her done. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a great day.